police.
Witnesses to come forward, and the police need as much help as possible. And I would like to say, with the press please, give us back the police.
Meanwhile, one of Britain's most famous historians has provoked fury, suggesting on a BBC programme that the rioting was due in part to what he called a particular sort of black culture. David Starkey said a substantial part of white working-class people here had adopted it, and that meant a profound cultural change.
The whites have become black. A particular sort of violent, destructive, nihilistic gangster culture has become in a fashion. And black and white, boy and girl operate in this language together.
His remarks were described as inflammatory and inaccurate. One writer called them a racist outpouring at a time of national crisis. There's also been reaction to the Prime Minister's decision to appoint a senior American policeman as an advisor. Bill Bratton cut serious crime rates and gun culture in cities like Los Angeles and New York. One former Metropolitan Police commander in London, John O'Connor, said he doubted that that approach would work here.
The Americans didn't cure the social problems in New York. What they did is they locked people up. Now that's how zero tolerance works. We haven't got the heart for that over here, and it's all very well for Bill Bratton to come over and start advising David Cameron, but the bottom line of it is he's not going to have the heart to introduce that kind of confined segregation.
As the British government grapples with how to stop a repeat of the disorder, the long judicial process continues. Special court sessions will resume on Sunday.
Janet Barry. You're listening to World Briefing from the BBC World Service. It's been a symbolic day in the German capital as people mark the 50th anniversary of the building of what became the Berlin Wall. At noon, the city fell silent, with trains and traffic coming to a standstill, while church bells pealed. The 12-foot cement and barbed wire wall divided the city into communist and capitalist parts for nearly 30 years. Our correspondent in Berlin, Steve Evans, reports from Bernauer-Strasse, an area known as the Death Strip because of the number of East Germans shot there while trying to get over the wall.
A simple ceremony was held in the rebuilt Chapel of Reconciliation, which had been demolished by the East German authorities to make way for the wall. Today's commemoration was attended by Chancellor Merkel, who grew up in East Germany, and so a symbol herself of the absence of the war. At noon, there was a minute's silence throughout the country. The mayor of Berlin expressed the main sentiment of the anniversary at the ceremony on Bernauer Strasse, a street split down the middle on August the 13th, 1961. He said, the wall is history, but we must not forget it. Anyone who confronts this issue is alert to injustice and totalitarian ideologies. Today, virtually nothing of the Berlin Wall remains. Berliners in the unified city do not mourn its demolition.
Among the crowds watching the ceremony, Susanne Mayer and Klaus Kampfenkel, residents of Berlin.
I find it moving how many people are here, and I think it's good that I can be here.
It was the biggest thing in my life when the wall fell on November 9, 1989.
To Berlin residents, and before that we heard from Stephen Evans. The Italian government has begun a nationwide media campaign highlighting the evils of tax evasion to show it's serious about tackling Italy's huge debts. And it's hired Saatchi & Saatchi, the advertising agency favoured by the former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, to get its message across. The move comes as the government confirmed details of a tough austerity package designed to stave off the threat of a Greek-style financial meltdown. From Milan, here's Mark Duff.
The nationwide campaign doesn't pull its punches.
Hai mai pensato a cosa si potrebbe fare con 100 miliardi di euro?
Think what you could do with 100 billion euros, runs one ad, build 600 new hospitals or 1 million new homes, or triple spending on security. And that, it warns, is what tax evasion costs honest Italians. As well as TV and radio slots, there are billboards at major railway stations and at the airports in Rome and Milan. The underlying message is summed up by another catchphrase describing tax dodgers as parasites on society. The aim of the campaign is to shame tax evaders into declaring their real income, boosting the government's coffers and helping to stave off financial ruin. As such, it runs hand in hand with government plans to slash spending and raise taxes. It was launched just before the Italian finance minister Giulio Tremonti spelt out his plans to balance the country's books by 2013. But Mr. Tremonti himself has been embarrassed by allegations that he used cash to pay the rent on a flat in Rome, a classic ruse of tax dodgers the world over. He hasn't been charged with any offence, but has admitted that he made mistakes. Italy has an unenviable reputation for tax evasion. Last year it cost the state the equivalent of nearly $142 billion. Despite the taxman's best efforts, experts say up to a quarter of the economy goes untaxed, much of it ending up in foreign tax havens.
Mark Duff in Milan. Several thousand people have attended the first Gay Pride March to be held in the Czech capital Prague. It was the culmination of a 5-day festival of tolerance. Nearly 7,000 gays and lesbians passed through the city centre to an outdoor music festival, with only a minor disruption from far-right demonstrators. The event has, though, been overshadowed by a heated political debate over homosexuality and tolerance in the Czech Republic. Rob Cameron has this report from Prague.
A colourful, noisy parade makes its way through the streets of Prague, easily drowning out any voices of protest. Transsexuals dancing on a flatbed truck blew kisses at a group of far-right skinheads who shook their fists in anger. For these marchers, the event was a celebration, not a political demonstration.
I think we passed the political, statements. They are important and they have been in the past, and that's why we can be free and celebrate what we are celebrating today. That's freedom, no? And liberty.
We live in democracy, so we need the tolerance, we need the love, we need the support of all the people, and we are human beings.
Prague Pride, the capital's first gay pride event, would have passed off without too much notice.